than happy to pose for the official pictures as the last man to make the field of 33, the 6th qualifier for owner Dick Simon. Slowest rookie qualifier, Bryan Herta, driving for A.J. Foyt, had to endure a nail-biting final day of qualifying in order to secure his 22nd starting position. Bryan is accustomed to winning. He's the reigning Indy Lights champion. Starting from inside the second row, the fastest rookie qualifier ever, Jacques Villeneuve, holds the best starting position for a rookie since Teo Fabi sat on the pole in 1983. There are 9 rookies in the field, not the largest group by far. In 1919, there were 19.
Not only is Jacques Villeneuve the fastest rookie in the field, he is the youngest driver in the field. And we're wondering now, for your first Indy 500, what are your expectations?
Well, hopefully we'll be in the top 10. I'm very confident in the team. They did a great job the whole month, and I know they're there to win and they're ready to win. I'm a rookie still, and the only rookie in the whole team, so I got to be realistic and just take it easy and finish the race.
Another famed second-generation driver about to try it here at Indy, Paul.
Here is Scott Sharp, one of the rookies, getting his first glimpse of this giant crowd as he walks out into the pit area. And then Robbie Gordon, who was a rookie here last year, and he took the lead of the race at one point. His background is off-road racing, much like 4-time winner Rick Mears, who won his first race in his second start. In 1985, Danny Sullivan won here after his famous spin in front of Mario. For the past 10 years, he's watched from the cockpit. Today, he'll watch from a tower high over turn 4. He joins us as part of our broadcast team, so we welcome you, Danny Sullivan.
Thank you, Paul. Back in the garage area, there's 33 very nervous drivers, and they all handle it differently. Some of the guys, they have to go to the restroom a lot. Some of them are pacing, and a few of them are even taking naps. Now imagine that they have only driven the car one time in the last week. That was on Thursday. They're going to go out, do 3 warm-up laps, and then they're going to go for the green in the greatest spectacle on earth. That's like comparing it to going to the U.S. Open, having 1 day of practice 3 days ago, taking 3 practice swings, and teeing it up.
Well, as Danny Sullivan suggests, to start the 500 is the top line in many drivers' portfolios. Keeping that in mind, let's continue our look at the starting field. 10 drivers have limited success in Indy cars. To be a starter here is a personal victory. Roberto Guerrero starts in the same car in which he set the 1- and 4-lap records back in 1992. A miscue in the pits cost him a victory in the '87 race, but he still finished second. Just 4 months later, a testing crash almost ended his life. He never got a chance to show what this car was capable of in '92, with cold weather conditions contributing to a pace lap accident that ended his day. Mike Robb starts from the 31st position. He hopes this unfamiliar chassis he has tested for less than a week leads to the same success as those more familiar ones he drove early in his career. John Paul Jr. missed last year's race. He won a 500-mile IndyCar race at Michigan in '83 in a close finish over Rick Mears. Scott Brayton has the second highest number of Indy 500 starts among active drivers with 12. The former 1-lap record holder has spent years developing the Buick engine that powers his car. Hiro Matsushita starts his third Indy 500 from the outside of row 6 in a Lola Ford Cosworth. But he is lucky to be starting at all after surviving this terrible crash at Phoenix. Even though his car was cut in half, Hiro walked away with a dislocated shoulder. To Hiro's left on the inside of row 6, 1992's fastest rookie qualifier, Jimmy Vasser. He drives a Renard Ford, a far cry from the car he started in at age 6, 22 years ago. Stan Fox qualified for the inside of row 5 in this car after it was delayed in construction, and he was only able to take 4 practice laps before qualifying. Fox is one of the few drivers who made it to Indy by running in the sprints and midgets, sometimes with spectacular results. Starting his 7th consecutive 500 from outside the 4th row, German-born Dominic Dobson stands a good chance to improve on his best finish of 12th from '92. Former front row starter Eddie Cheever is in the middle of row 4 today in a car in which he practiced at over 231 miles an hour in testing here last November. Lynn St. James will make her 3rd Indianapolis start from the outside of row 2. Lynn has earned her way to the front of the Indy grid by perseverance as a driver and by surviving crashes such as this in IMSA GTP at Riverside in 1986. The accident was frightening, but Lynn was not injured in the fire. Her debut at Indy was 1992 when she was named Rookie of the Year. But the highlight of her racing career was this qualifying run 2 weeks ago that put Lynn in the field ahead of Nigel Mansell, Mario Andretti, and Bobby Rahal in another one of Dick Simon's 6 entries. These 10 aspiring drivers account for 48 Indy 500 starts, 2 second places, but no wins.
Lynn St. James, earlier this month, you turned heads around the world with your impressive qualifying performance to start outside of row 2. Realistically now, what are your expectations here today?
I just want us to have a really good, clean, safe race. I want to have the best race of my life, and may the best team win. May the best team be there. I hope we're there, but I just want it to be safe and clean, and I want to do everything I can do.
As it says on the uniform, she does indeed epitomize the spirit of the American woman. Jack?
Jerry, a man is getting a thrill of a lifetime this morning in the garage area. Tim Allen, the star of the ABC hit comedy Home Improvement, finally getting to sit in a race car. Tim, why do you come to Indianapolis?
The food. The food here, that trickle-down chili is great. Why do you think I come here to Indianapolis? What kind of idiot are you anyway? You're sweating, aren't you? You're awfully nervous, aren't you? There are people yelling at you in the booth. Get him in and get him out. That's all we got to do, huh? I came here because there's a big golf match today. So I thought I'd drive over here. I bought this car. This is a Sears catalog car. You can get anything in the Sears catalog and you build it yourself. Al and I put this together. Well, actually, Al did it. But we're going to be, we're 34th, waiting for Nige to bow out. I made him tuna fish this morning, though. Left the mayonnaise out a little too long, so we're expecting any minute now. Boy, he'll be darting back and forth between here and the pits.
Gee, Tim, we'd like to talk to you a little bit longer, but you've gone over time, so let's go back to the tower.
I think he knows you very well, Jackaroo. 25 minutes now until the start of the engines as Ari Lyondike waves to the crowd.
The Miller Pit Stop Competition, presented by Miller Genuine Draft. One of the most exciting events that took place during Indy Week was the Miller Pit Stop Competition. After a series of eliminations, the final 2 crews, representing John Paul Jr. and Jacques Villeneuve, changed 4 tires and performed a simulated fuel hookup. The grand prize was $25,000 in cash and $10,000 in tools, with the runner-up receiving $15,000. Seconds can make a difference in the battle for the checkered flag, and Villeneuve's team was faster by 0.7 of a second to win the 1994 Miller Pit Stop Competition.
Chemistry. Shell, the world's best-selling gasoline.
Designated as one of America's national landmarks, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Museum keeps alive the history of the Indianapolis 500. Come visit with us and find out why the 500 is the greatest spectacle in racing.
Downtown Indianapolis from the Goodyear Blimp Spirit. This is the 70th year that Goodyear Blimps have covered the nation's top sporting events. Now, let's continue our look at the starting field. 9 drivers have scored wins in the top levels of racing and are contenders for the 500. They have the speed and the savvy to win. Scott Goodyear will start 33rd for the 2nd time in 3 years because a teammate sacrificed his spot in the field. But the other time it happened, Goodyear drove from 33rd to 2nd in the closest 500 finish in history. Stefan Johansson makes his 2nd Indy 500 start from the outside of row 9. Last year, this Swedish driver was the highest starting rookie and drove a steady race to finish 11th. The young Canadian Paul Tracy will be starting his 3rd 500 for Roger Penske in one of only 3 cars powered by the potent Mercedes-Benz engine. Paul prepares for the racing season by riding through the rough terrain on his mountain bike. But he didn't expect this rough terrain when on the day before pole qualifying, he took a hard shot into the wall. An overnight stay in the hospital cost Tracy a chance at the pole. That's why he starts from the inside of row 9. As a rookie in '83, Teo Fabi qualified on the pole. Today he starts from the outside of the 8th row, driving for Jim Hall, an owner with 2 previous 500 wins in '78 and in '80. As a rookie last year, Robbie Gordon led the Indy 500. This year he starts from inside the 7th row and hopes that his ride is much smoother than the long-distance off-road races he's won. Robbie is now the lead driver for the Derek Walker IndyCar team. The nephew of Mario and godson of his car owner A.J. Foyt, John Andretti makes his 7th 500 start from inside row 4. John is a versatile driver, accustomed to high speed. Last year, he was winning matches in a top fuel dragster. Last Saturday night, driving car 14, he was involved in this spectacular multi-car accident while racing a stock car at Charlotte Motor Speedway. When today's 500 is over, he'll fly to Charlotte and race another 600 miles. One of Nigel Mansell's few remaining goals in racing is to win the Indy 500. He begins his quest today from inside row 3. Last year, he was named Rookie of the Year and almost won the race. But his lack of experience showed on this restart with 16 laps to go, as he fell to 3rd behind Fittipaldi and Lyondike. But he learns fast, winning 5 other races in the series to take the PPG Cup as series champion. Starting from the inside of row 2, Michael Andretti looks to add to the 337 laps he has led at Indy. Michael missed last year's 500 due to participation in Formula One. But he came back to the Indy cars just as he left, with an aggressive driving style, driving hard, and winning his return to the series in the season opener in Australia. Raul Boesel firmly believed that the Indy 500 was taken away from him last year because of 2 penalties assessed during the race. This year, he looks to avenge that loss from the middle of the front row. At his American home in Miami, he plays basketball with his son, Raul Jr. In his homeland of Brazil, he is an accomplished show horse jumper. These 9 have proven their skills everywhere but Indy, and each feels today that could change.
Well, Raul, 2 stop-and-go penalties in last year's race. You say that cost you the Indy 500. When do you put all that on the shelf?
Well, I think already last year I have a big support from the fans. You can see it, and this is a big motivation for me, and that was put behind, and let's see what we can do this year.
Good luck today. Let's check in with Gary Gerald. Gary?
Still back in the garage area, Nigel Mansell. Nigel, the lessons learned last year as a rookie, how will it help you in this race today?
To say hello to my children first, Chloe, Leo, and Greg, and hi, Mum. Yeah, I mean, I'm more comfortable. I haven't got any pain in my back this year, and, you know, a lot of experience underneath the belt, and I'm very comfortable with that.
And we must ask you, because the whole world wants to know, are you planning to go back to Formula One after Indianapolis?
I beg your pardon?
I think that says an awful lot. A loud volume from Nigel Mansell. Let's go to Jerry Punch.
Michael Andretti, after a year's absence, what would it mean for you to win today in your dad's final 500?
Well, obviously it'd be really special, and you know, I know if Dad can't win it, he'd want me to do it, and you know, if we could do that, that would be a huge moment.
One of the pre-race favorites, Michael Andretti. Paul?
Paul Tracy heads out to the pit area, ready to start in the Indy 500. We'll be back. This Mario Andretti, as he now makes his way from the garage area to his final Indy 500. What incredible memories and thoughts must be going through this man's mind here today. Been 25 years, a quarter of a century since his last win. And the fans still love him. Around the globe, the name Andretti is racing. Now, Bobby Unser this year will be watching from a position over the corporate suites at Turn 2. A great view of Turn 2 and the backstretch. Bobby, what about Mario Andretti? Can he win it?
Paul, he's always capable of winning, and he is certainly deserved another one.
What do you think of the what happens in a driver's mind? What goes on when you arrive here at a track, Bobby?
Well, you know, for example, the first thing I used to do when I came here is look at the clouds and the wind and the sun. For example, if the sun shines on the track, it heats up the surface and the rubber from the tires, making it very slippery. And often when you hear the drivers complaining on television that the track is slippery, this is what it means.
Bobby, how does the heat affect the cars themselves?
Well, if it's hot, they'll be instructed, the drivers, to